بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا أقسم بهذا البلد وأنت حل بهذا البلد ووالد وما ولد لقد خلقنا الإنسان في كبد أيحسب أن لن يقدر عليه أحد يقول أهلكت مالا لبدا أيحسب أن لم يره أحد ألم نجعل له عينين ولسانا وشفتين وهديناه النجدين فلاقتحم العقبة وما أدراك ما العقبة فك رقبة أو إطعام في يوم ذي مسغبة يتيما ذا مقربة أو مسكينا ذا متربة ثم كان من الذين آمنوا وتواصوا بالصبر وتواصوا بالمرحمة أولئك أصحاب الميمنة والذين كفروا بآياتنا هم أصحاب المشأمة عليهم نار مؤصدة
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. There's a place at Dar al-Islam in New Mexico. If you go outside in the masjid, all right, there's a place where the water drips from the roof, just outside the masjid. And there's a brick there. And I've watched that brick diminish over the years. I've been going to Dar al-Islam almost 20 years. And I've seen the brick, it gets deeper and deeper because of this drop that's going on. And the heart is like, it becomes like a rock, you know, like a hijara, or ashaddu qaswa, or even harder than a rock. But Allah says that from rocks, there are ones that birth forth springs. And so the hardening of the heart that's what dunya does to the heart. Yuqassi al-qalb. It makes the heart hard. There's people who hear the Quran, it has no effect on them. They hear it. People used to die hearing the Quran. Wallahi, I swear to God, people used to literally die. We have it in the books. They would hear a verse of Quran, they would die. The Sahaba heard the Quran and they were suddenly in China and in Morocco. I mean, they called them lizard eaters. The Persians looked down on the Arabs. They were nobody. They were a insignificant historical people, just living in this desert. They never went anywhere. They had rihlat ash-shita'i wal sayf. They went to Yemen and they went to Syria. That was it. So what was it that suddenly they're in China and Morocco? Spain. France. I mean, what was it? What was that? It was because their hearts burst. You know, they got filled with this incredible light. It's like you know, it's a taqa nawawiyya. You know, it's the real nuclear power, and that's the real nuclear power. But it's not toxic. It does the opposite. Like their nuclear power destroys everything. This nuclear power brings everything to life. You know, it restores life to dead civilizations. That would happen. Suddenly the Persians, they were a moribund civilization, dead. And they got brought back to life. Look at the Turks. You know what the Turks were before they were Muslim? They were Byzantine Christians. They were at the end of their civilization. And Islam came and brought them back to life. Go to Turkey and look at what they built. They were a dead civilization. It infuses people. That's what this religion does. So anyway, this is the month of Quran. And the beauty of Ramadan. Ramadan's amazing. It really is. If you think about it. And even if you don't think about it, it's amazing. But at least when you think about it, you get open to what's amazing about it. But, you know, all over the world, people are fasting. 1.3 billion people. Even the bad Muslims fast. That's a miracle. No, because seriously, I mean, shayateen get chained up, and you can't deny it. You find things easier to do in Ramadan. You can't lower your eyes in other months. Ramadan comes, you can lower your eyes. What's going on? You know, you've got your food and drink. People graze all day long during the year. Ramadan comes, I'm fasting. People stop backbiting. They stop arguing. Seriously, what is that? It's amazing. لَعَلَكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, because it's in order that you learn taqwa for the rest of the year. Problem is, the madrasa closes, and that's it. But yeah, it's supposed to be continuing ed throughout the year. You know, you're supposed to go back. Like you have CE units, like doctors. You lose your license if you don't keep up. So it's the same with Ramadan. Anyway, I did this with my children tonight, and I was just thinking about it. It's just such an amazing. I mean, the whole Quran, mashallah, but I was thinking about this surah tonight. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, a'udhu billahi min shaitan ar-Rajim. Allah says, La uqsimu bihada al-balad. I swear by this city. And they say Allah doesn't swear by anything that's not immense. Like all the oaths that Allah makes, the moon, the sun, it's all momentous things. And He swears by Mecca. And Mecca is a sacred city. And it always has been. It's a sacred spot on the earth. It's a very strange place. Geologically, it's very unusual. If you go around the world, there's very few places that are similar to Mecca geologically. But the Kaaba is built there, and it's built on, there's actually 3 major principles that it's built on. It's aligned. Kaaba is actually aligned. Ibn Abbas mentions this. It's aligned to the winds. The 4 winds, because the Arabs had 4 winds. There's 4 winds. We used to have it in this culture. People don't know winds anymore because they don't live with nature. Winds are very important to life. Winds pollinate. Winds do immense things. That we have a global system of winds, and people are ignorant of it. One of the things that all this global warming is doing is it's disrupting the system of the winds around the planet. You know, if you look on old maps, you know how they have in the 4 corners they have the clouds blowing? The wind, that's wind. Because people knew about that. Like you had the Zephyr, you have the Levantir, you have the Borealis. They actually had terms like the Arabs, because they have the Sabah, Rihu Sabah, the Dabur, the Shimal. They had the same thing. So people knew about these winds. And if you notice winds here, if you're attentive to it, what you'll notice is they come from the same directions throughout the year. They're discernible. They're not crazy. There's an actually incredible system of winds there. So the Kaaba is aligned. Each wall is aligned to a wind direction that was coming into Mecca. But it's also aligned to the moonrise and the moon set. So there's an actual alignment with the moon. And this is archaeoastronomy is all over the planet. You'll find archaeoastronomical sites. Ancients were very, very obsessed with aligning sacred buildings to the heavens. So you'll find it all over. But the Kaaba is not an exception. It's actually the rule, probably, that the other ones were based on. But what's extraordinary, one of the extraordinary things about the Kaaba is it's actually aligned to the rising of a star in the south, which is called Canopus. Canopus. The Arabs call it Suhail. If you look up Canopus on Sheikh Google, what you'll find is Canopus is a very unusual star, because according to NASA, it's the single most important star for celestial navigation. So all of the satellites are aligned to Canopus. All the space exploration is aligned to Canopus. So when the people of the earth, the people of Dunya, of the earth, want to go into the celestial sphere, they have to use Canopus to guide them. And that's what the Kaaba is aligned to, is this star. Because that's our celestial. When we need to navigate, we want our prayers to go up to the heavens. And we don't want them to lose their way. So the Kaaba itself is aligned to the single most important star for celestial navigation. And that's an ayah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Mecca is sacred for many reasons. Ibrahim alayhi salam built that. And so Allah is swearing by the city.